right, guys. So we are doing a review of the Matrix Resurrections with an S. Okay. I don't know why I keep leaving that S off every time. But thank you, Joe and Dana, for joining me.
Thank
Yay!
you for having us.
It is an
Welcome,
honor to be
welcome,
here.
welcome. Where this, like, I don't know, this kind of looked like a CGI to me, for one. I was like, is
A
this a
what?
real place?
CGI?
What's the CGI?
Yeah. Like this right here.
What's CGI stand for? Who am I looking at? It just looks like a city.
Honestly, I can't tell you what CGI stands
See,
for,
like,
but I know what it is. CGI.
computer generated image. And Lord, it just hit me. It just
oh,
thank
so
you,
you mean
Spirit.
like
Because
you think
honey,
that
look,
that's like the
I couldn't even
background screen,
remember
like
what
it's
it
not a
was.
real city? Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. You think like it's not a real city? It's just like a implemented one to like pretty much make it look like this.
Right. It's a computer generated image. I think
Okay,
that's what it is.
so like green screen basically.
That's what I was gonna
Right.
say. Green screen.
Kind of like when they're doing those for houses and things, they do give you like a little virtual graphic video of like this is what your house could look like. Your redesign of your kitchen could look like or something like that. That's what it looked like.
Okay.
But so we're in the therapist office and he's like, what's going on with you, Thomas? And I'm just like, first of all, who the hell and what the hell is a Thomas? Because I was like, is somebody else in the room? Because I was like, that's Neo or like Mr. Anderson. Like, duh. So
but you have to remember. But you
said what?
I said, but go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'll come in with mine.
No, because I'd never heard him called Thomas, not in any of the first three movies. So it kind of took me aback, like, oh, who is that? But that's it.
Well, no, they did call him Thomas.
He didn't look like a Thomas.
They called him by his full name one time, I think, and that's when they dropped the phone off at the first one, at his desk.
What was his name in the first one? It wasn't Neo. It was always Neo.
It was always no. That was his hacker name. Is Neo. That's where he got that from.
And you're saying that they called him his real name one time before, and
yeah,
it was
the
Thomas?
the mail guy dropped off the phone that's where Morpheus called him the first time.
And he called him Thomas, though?
No, Morpheus called him Neo, but the mail guy called him Thomas Anderson.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, at his workplace.
I don't remember that.
I know these movies like the back of my hand, so
I don't remember that. That's a good one, Joe. Wow, that's a good one, Joe. I don't remember that. Wow.
And of course,
that's why I have y'all here, different perspectives.
No, because you know what? I was just thinking like when they reincarnated him back, just so again a further disconnection, gave him a new name. But it's not even a new name; it's his old name. He just reincarnated into this new energy, that new Matrix. Because if you remember, the last movie ended off with him talking to that like oracle guy. He's not an oracle, but he was that guy that kind of like runs things in the thing and he made a deal with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they implemented him back in, and it was supposed to be different. And although it was, and we're gonna get into it, it is different, but it's still not real. Still, you know what I mean? A slumber, still things happening. So I actually didn't realize that. I thought they just gave him a name like, oh, we don't want him to connect to Neo. So, you know what I'm saying? We're going to give him a new identification. We're going to name him Thomas this time around. So it kind of further disconnects him from his true self. But okay. I forgot about that. Good catch.
This guy here. I think his name, his character name is the analyst instead of like the therapist.
Do you think that he is that same guy I was talking about? And
The
remember, because
architect?
the architect. Do you think that he's appearing as? I kind of
That's
thought
what.
maybe he was the architect because he's trying to like make sure. Because remember, he was like, "There's always one of you. You always reappear, kind of like a virus, right? You always reappear in every matrix that's ever been. It always happens. Takes down the matrix, then they rebuild it better, stronger, whatever, right?
It's always that anomaly.
I was thinking that he was him. I don't know though.
He does have blue glasses.
Yeah, right. And even the whole scene of the background. Remember when he came into the office and it was the television screens? Like those could easily be books. I'm telling you, I don't know, but I think that he's the architect, and I think this is his way of trying to suppress his awakening to ruin the new matrix that they created in this sense. So he's like, I'm gonna keep an eye on you now that I know who you are and what you are. We're gonna implement you back into the matrix, and I'm gonna keep a goddamn eye on you because every time you show up and you show out and you ruin everything, right?
Like there's always one of you motherfuckers.
There's always one of you. Always. You know? So maybe this is his like way of like trying to control this narrative this time around.
Very true. Well, I was like, I don't know, they like
why the
always
duck?
something. I find it interesting that there's always like this bathtub scene and then this rubber duck on his head. And I found like this interesting quote about like kind of like a spiritual. I took it from like a spiritual aspect of like this this duck being on his head, and I kind of like this quote. The meaning of the duck is a wake-up call for you to coast through your waters without getting tangled with the debris that floats around you.
Wow.
Did y'all hear that?
Yes, I did.
And I thought that hit, the nail on the head.
Especially with how he's feeling. He's in this therapist's office because he is like, he doesn't understand his own thoughts. He thinks he's going crazy. He thinks like, he thinks there's something wrong with him. That's the debris that surrounds you as you coast, even as each of us, right? Like we all have this. I automatically thought of duck, duck, goose. You know what I'm saying? Like
duck, duck, goose. Now, I'll do you one better. I thought about Sesame Street.
You thought about Sesame Street? How did you implement Sesame Street?
Rubber ducky.
Oh, the rubber ducky. But I thought about that game. And then I was just thinking, it's almost like he's waiting for his turn to be goose. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the goose gets to chase and go on the chase, right? You have to wait, duck. And then when someone sits goose, that's your chance to get up and go around. But I don't know. I thought of the game. I'm weird like that. That's how spirits spoke to me.
Can you skip a little bit further in the same? He's in the tub, but he's also crying too. Could that also contribute to him thinking he's going crazy?
I think so.
Like because
it's emotional, right? Even when you first start to awaken, it's super emotional, right? Like you don't know left from right. You do feel like you're going crazy. You're thinking all of these things. You're pretty much trying to figure out like everything that you've been told doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're in that space.
I guess he feels like he's going in circles. I guess like trapped in the sense,
trying to make him way through the debris
of numbness. Like he looks like he's numb. Like he doesn't feel. Like he's trying to feel, but it's something blocking him. And then this is the coffee shop where he meets
Trinity.
Up with Trinity. I don't know.
Now to me, and you see him taking the blue pills, right? That's what I'm saying. Then who would have prescribed him those blue pills, if not the architect himself?
That makes sense.
Who would have prescribed him them pills? Mm-hmm.
And actually, can you go back to where he sees Trinity?
If that is not the introduction of the
Okay.
twin flame journey, I don't know what else is, by the way.
Okay, come on now.
You're like, I'm about to shoot my shot.
Okay.
Again.
He's like, ooh, what was that spark I felt when she touched my hand? Mm-hmm. What was that spark? Ooh.
Like, I know you felt it.
Like, ooh, you felt
Then
that
she
too,
hit him
didn't
with,
you?
have
She
you
was
met?
like, she's like, do I know you from somewhere? Yes, you do, honey.
No, when she said that, look at his face.
She looking at him as she touches his hand. She said, I like that feeling. Well, do I know you?
Look at his
Do
face.
I know you?
Right.
The look of defeat on this man's face right now. He looking like, oh.
He's like, wait a minute.
He's like,
I know this.
she
touch.
is the anomaly that he's been waiting on. Like something different in his routine. Like it looks like he literally just wakes up, does the same thing every day until he like, you know, meets her in his coffee shop. That's what I'm getting. Like, and he looking all crazy.
Look at him taking his blue pills. He just knows, because even with the pills trying to repress his memories, his emotions, and his connection to his inner higher self, he's the one. You can only suppress it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
The awakening
Right.
happens. Just like they said, they're trying to suppress it. But like they said, he appears every goddamn time. He manifests. And it's something that they cannot control. And I just really feel like this was them trying to shift into that control. They're like, okay, we know who he is. We're gonna keep feeding him blue pills. Who knows how long he's been seeing this damn doctor.
Right.
Analyst.
Robbie's right after he after the third one, when he, you know, he went into the what you call it, city? What is it? Machine City?
City.
Mm-hmm.
And probably immediately after that, like this whole time. It's definitely something
In
going on
Canada,
with
y'all. In Canada,
word
because you know how we.
fluctuation.
Oh, sorry. In
Go ahead.
Canada, you know how we're on still doing the mask thing. Like Canadians are so passive, it's stupid. But now, because like people are just using fake vaccine passports. Even I have one. But maybe I shouldn't have said that. But it doesn't matter anyways, because they switched to the QR code. And only people who have the QR code can get to see it. And I was like, you know what? Because they know they already altered their DNA. They're not going to be able to be awakened in the same way. They don't want us to see it in theaters. Right on time for the Matrix to come out. Although, by watching the trailers, there's a lot of misinformation in there too. But we'll get into it.
Okay.
At least that's what I was getting downloads from anyways. While watching it.
Of course, everyone's tapped into their probably Facebook Meta. Everybody's just tuned in.
Buying up all the Meta real estate.
I
Right.
mean, I can buy some real estate and still live in the metaverse, right? Like, me, I'm trying to get into the NFTs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn more about it, but definitely interested.
Now, what does NFT stand for again?
I don't remember what it stands for. I just know it has to do with like pretty much digitalizing your ownership of your artwork. It could be your content too. It could be anything. Like even my brother was telling me, because he's like, you're not gonna put Black Fairy Guidance in the metaverse, Dayna? I don't know. But it's pretty much any of your anything you do, artistic wise or whatever.
Okay, that's good.
People use it as like, it's like almost like, I think kind of like making your own token, and then it increases in value. I know that they only use Ethereum, but it increases in value. Like there was a 12-year-old girl, her mom, I guess her parents, I don't know which one, or either one of them, they got her into NFTs, and now her collection, she makes these drawings, and she has this distinct drawing of making them with long necks because her favorite dinosaurs are long necks. So she makes these pictures of people with long necks and like whatever. And her artwork is now worth 1.2 million. She's 12 years old.
I saw that post. Okay.
So I was even thinking my daughter likes to draw, so I think I'm gonna. Like, she usually likes to see me do stuff, and then it will inspire her. So she ever like, it's like, yo, you're 9, you could get your art collection up by the time you're older. That could be worth 20 million or whatever the case may be. Digital assets are becoming quite common. So.
Right. I mean, because they're trying to make everything virtual, digital at this point. Like,
it's not necessarily a bad thing, though. It's just the terms of which power wants to use it for what.
Who we have here?
Yes.
Did y'all ever watch her in the
Different
in the
World,
FBI
right?
series?
Oh wait, no. Is that the one? No, that's not her. That's not her. Never mind. No. Sorry, wrong person.
No, she played in a as an FBI agent, which is interesting as well. But in a TV series on, I think, ABC. But it is said that she is Sati. Is it Sati? Sati? Yes. All grown up.
Okay.
With the red glasses.
Those glasses she wearing?
She looked like the Oracle.
No, she don't. I mean, she lived with the Oracle for some, for a little bit.
She looked like she baked some mean oatmeal cookies.
Were they oatmeal raised or were they just oatmeal?
Just oatmeal.
But she's wearing red glasses. So clearly she's here to wake him up.
And the background is a little red too. Mm-hmm. She got on red, I think.
And this is who I call Shades, because there's only one Morpheus. So
first of all,
I was really upset.
First of all,
upsetting.
Shades. His name is Shades.
Pay that man his respect.
What are you talking about?
Pay the man his respect.
Where's Morpheus? What happened? Why did they bring this guy in? I don't understand.
You said we want Morpheus.
Yes.
Morpheus
Big ass Morpheus. Is he sick? Did he die of COVID? Is he one of the ones that left? Like, what are you talking about? Like, where did he go? Did I not hear about it? Where's he? Why are we seeing this bootleg Morpheus? If you had to wait to contract him into the movie like he was doing something else, like he had another obligation, then y'all should have just waited to create the film. Because this bootleg Morpheus, you thought that we wouldn't care?
Bootleg Morpheus. You said
this movie ain't even finna make the same amount of money with this QR code business anyways. I'm about to show the world.
Dayna said, we want your daddy.
I feel like he came out of nowhere too. Like he's one of these actors that came out of nowhere, like onto the scene. Like he might have been in the acting world for a minute, but like I feel like
a little sidekick, a little liner here.
Out of nowhere. You said what, Dayna?
I said, yeah, I seen him a little bit here or there with a little one-liner here or there or something like that. Like, I'm sure he had a couple of, he does look familiar. I think I've seen him around for sure.
He's Candyman.
Is that the Candyman dude?
Mm-hmm.
The new one, right?
Yeah, the new one.
Okay, that's where I know him from. But I think even before that, I seen him around. Before that.
I saw him in The Watchmen. Did y'all watch The Watchmen with Regina King?
No, but I heard it's really good.
Did I see? You said what, Joe?
Was he Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where he's from. Still out of nowhere.
I still feel like I know where he. Like I seen him around from before that, like in little, like in smaller roles. Is that the guy from Black Mirror? And he was the friend of the other black dude. Is that him too? That's the
you talking about the video game one?
Yes.
Yep.
That's
exactly.
Him?
That's the Falcon guy, the guy that plays the Falcon in Marvel. and him
Yeah,
together.
with the guy that
yeah.
plays the Falcon and Mark, he was the other guy. But this guy was the other one, his best friend in the show. Remember? That was like, oh, I need to see you in there. It doesn't feel like you getting all like pretty much, you know, all these homosexual type feelings that he
I
was
think that
getting
was
through
the
the game.
initiation. That was the initiation.
You
I think
know
that's
there's
what that
gonna be
was.
an initiation.
That's why they came out of nowhere. I'm like, who are these people? And then I was surprised to see the Falcon guy playing in Alton Carbon too.
Yeah, that he did a great job though on that one.
He did. Okay.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it. I may go back and see it.
You haven't seen the first season?
Oh no, I've definitely seen the first season. I just hadn't seen the second season with him in it.
The first season I've watched so many times. Like I love Altered Carbon. Yeah, you guys are giving me things to put on my list to watch right now. That I'm just like, I haven't watched it in a while. But when that first dropped, I must have watched it over and over and over again. Like I was like, yo, the storyline's good, just everything's good. Like it was just one of those things, and I was really like breaking it down like spiritually. I was like, look at all these fucking messages. The second one too. You gotta watch the second one though. You have to, because there's so many messages in there. For real talk. You gotta watch the second one.
I knew.
You get a lot of information. You're gonna get a lot of downloads watching that one, especially with how things are moving right now.
Right, exactly.
You can see what they're trying to plan as far as transhumanism.
Just to make us more,
Even there's a scene in Altered Carbon. I know we're not supposed to be talking about Altered Carbon, but there's a scene in the second one where they talk about how because she's running both sides, the good and the bad. I'm kind of giving a small spoiler, but and like how like it's controlled opposition, right? And how like it was only the one person who was the head of the controlled opposition that really knew that it was controlled opposition. Everyone else thought it was like a real opposition, right? And how they always plant people. Well, you know why they always plant people in opposition to try to thwart and sway to whatever they want so they can control everything. It exposes that. Altered Carbon's a really good show.
I'm about to go back and watch it. I may do a review or something. Find a episode that I really like and just do a review on it. And we can do it together, Dayna, if you want it.
Sure, you know I'm down. I love this kind of stuff, so.
Okay. Oh, so back to Shades.
Back to Morpheus.
No, it's too close to Morpheus. Nope, it's too Shades. That's his name.
He got the same shades. He got the bald head. It's close enough.
Whatever. No, I was like, they didn't have any problems if he, with Lawrence Fishburne being overweight or whatever. Like he was overweight in John Wick, and he still dominated that role. Like.
Whatever. That's what stunt doubles are for. Okay, that's what stunt doubles are for.
Right, pretty much.
And I know y'all have the budget. Okay, this is the fourth one. Y'all have the budget. Okay.
So this is
hell, get him a trainer. Be like, you got to be ready in 6 months, Lawrence. We got you on a diet. We got you a nutritionist. We got you a chef.
How old is he?
Seriously,
Seriously,
they should have an agent that writes that in his contract. Like, how hard is that? Like even to your food, whatever you're shopping, rent, or wherever you're staying. If you're staying in a house or staying in an Airbnb or hotel, like they can afford all that stuff. Like you said, trainer, all that stuff. Like, put in your contract, but some
he's been in the game too long for that not to be the case. It was some bullshit onto why he is. He's probably not alive anymore, y'all. Lawrence Fishburne is one of them ones that they took out. He's probably involved in the rings. They took him out. He gone. They couldn't get one that looked like him, so they're like, we don't got a double. We don't even have one near as close as this fake ass Will Smith we got walking around. We gotta just put someone else as his role. I don't know, because it just doesn't make no sense. It don't make no sense. If he's not dead, then why isn't he playing Morpheus? 3 movies, and then all the 4th movie he's this dick. No, I'm not here for it. I do not accept.
I think it was ego. I think it was ego. They were like, we're gonna do what we want to do, how we do it. It doesn't matter because people are gonna still go and see it anyway, regardless. But I just feel like that's the shitty way to treat your fans. Like we paying you, like,
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting quadruple, if not more, like what you put into this movie. So, but yeah, it's all ego. So I this what is her name? Her name is
Who
supposed to
this?
be Bugs. She's Bugs. Not Lola, she just Bugs. Not Bugs Bunny.
She
She
reminds
just
me of that first
Bugs.
girl, the one with the bleached blonde hair that died in the first movie that followed. She reminds me of her. Like she's supposed to
You
be
mean
her
Switch?
reincarnated. Yes. Look at you. You really know all the names. You be knowing all the
I
characters'
told you, I
names.
know these movies like the back
Not
of
even
my
the main
hand.
characters. If it ain't the main character, I don't know who you are. You the girl with the blonde shortcut. He's blonde shortcut. That's who you is.
You that one chick with the one haircut.
And I've been watching. I watched it plenty of times, but I don't remember her name. Like,
right. She's like the new kid on the block. Like next gen. I don't know. Maybe they did bring her back. I mean, they seem to be
but then
giving
again,
all the OGs upgrades.
that's true. But I was just thinking too, when you die in the Matrix, when you're outside of the Matrix, you're dead for real, though, right? They don't put you back in the system,
Right.
so I don't think that she would have made it back. She would have just been dead as a
Or there
casualty
was
of
some
war.
sort of. I mean, they still have maybe their program, like their digital.
You mean their digital imprint from prior to them being extracted?
Right.
That could make sense. That could make sense.
What do y'all think this code is about? Like coding on her face.
I think it's like again that glimpse of this fake ass reality that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
As you're breaking through, them meeting, that connection, that spark,
right,
kind of like activated something. You're seeing the activation of her like DNA code or her memory or something.
Okay.
Or that could be like a hologram of Trinity.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I can see that too. Like so you think it's Neo who is like his subconscious mind is using his memory of Trinity as the spark to like, okay, time to wake up. That anomaly to break his cycle of just living or surviving and like actually living his life, his original life.
Okay.
Is that I've seen so many breakdowns on this, and what I think, and one of them is, you know how in the first, the 2 and the 3 movies, Neo chose love, unlike the other anomalies, right? What if this program, the system actually updates to where the program kind of emulates love, and it keeps Neo inside the Matrix? Because like everybody's talking about, it's all about love. We got to be on a vibration of love. What if the system has updated that? And it's like, oh, not y'all want to talk about love and stuff, right? Okay, let's make a program about that to keep them in the Matrix.
Okay. It's true. So you think they've upgraded to like another program, like a love program?
Because remember, the Matrix always improves itself. Yeah, it's always updating.
And with that being said, if they were showing a hologram, hold on, you guys.
That's just one of the theories I heard about. I'm like, yo, that's kind of crazy. because it kind of fits into what's going on now. Not to say don't choose love, but it's like be careful with choosing love because that could be a program too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's the thing about being awakened and being asleep, right? You know when it's a program, you know when it's a false love. Truly, if you're really tapped in, right? And at this point, he's been funneling blue pills down his throat. It probably tapped into like that disconnect of being able to connect with Trinity or even the hologram of her, just to spark the feeling of love, only to take it away. Because it seems like I don't know if it's in this one, but didn't they cross paths a couple of times before they actually found each other in that sense?
I think so.
Because if
Or
they
was only
had,
that
then
one time?
it could be like implementing and almost chasing it. Like, who is that girl? And if it is a hologram, it sets him in the wrong direction to find her by setting up little traps of holographic images of her meeting and encountering with him to divert him from the real Trinity, which would give him the real spark and the real awakening.
Oh, so you think that they may have known, the shades and the new kid on the block were coming for him, so they used this Trinity program to divert him away from them,
Well, I think that it's
from
to
getting
them, it's
extracted.
something that's inevitable because again, every time he appears, he's the anomaly that appears in the Matrix that kind of ruins everything and brings everything to a crumble. So as a preemptive strike, or to at least keep this current Matrix moving as they think it should, is to
Right.
implant distractions to carry him out on the wrong path, to divert him towards the wrong Trinity. Because as seeing her, you can see that again, do I know you, right? And then constantly kind of seeing her, thinking like, oh, you know what I mean, sending him in the wrong direction and in the wrong path. If he turns out to be, if she turns out to be a holograph in this section, I'm saying.
Okay, gotcha.
And even, well, as D calls them, shades. In that cut, that exact cut, he says that's why you're still fighting. The very thing that you want is still in the Matrix. That's why you went back to go get that thing that you love, which is Trinity.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that because I was really big on the twin flame journey throughout, and it being throughout the lifetimes, right?
So that would mean Trinity's plugged into the Matrix then, because why would he go back into the Matrix?
Well, it did a grand reset at the end of the last movie. It was a grand reset back into another Matrix, right?
Okay.
So I feel like it just reset everybody and everything. It was supposed to be different, but these machines, they're kind of like, if you've been watching the Wheel of Time on Amazon, and the women are talking about how they're employed to tell the truth, but they have ways of like how they deliver the truth, like it's true, but they could deliver it in an untrue way, but it's still kind of the truth. So it's technically not against their laws or going against whatever.
Right.
Kind of reminds me of that, right? Where he could have told her what he wanted to hear in the sense that he wanted to hear it, not understanding that this reset would reset everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of like that same vibration I was getting from it. But the twin flame journey, you can't keep them apart. They find each other no matter which lifetime. Whether they come together in that lifetime isn't always a guarantee either. So just like how this time Neo chose his twin flame, chose love. The other times he probably couldn't have because it wasn't the right time. It's almost like that age of Aquarius, right? It's supposed to happen at this time. So it's like you have to go through all these things. And then on the other side is when you get the love and then you get to be with your divine partner and things like that, right?
Right. It's definitely, I've like realized like the Matrix is nothing but like a love story. That's what it seems like to me. It's
But
one
it's
big
not
love.
only just a love story. When I took note of this, and like even in the other trailers, what I realized was that
It's a mixture,
it's a mixture, but it's also about the awakening of the divine feminine. Neo said it's time for me to support her. It's time for me to pour into her. Which is literally the time of like what we're getting into. The divine feminine is raising in vibration, and it's about the masculine being okay and being in balance with that, and also supporting it and uplifting it. in order for it to take over, in order for her to find her true power, because the true source is a feminine energy. The true creator is a feminine energy source. Women create. It's not, women give birth to things. You know what I'm saying? Men can give birth to an idea, but to life, that is the sacred mission of a woman. Not to say that, I'm going to say this disclaimer, I'm not saying it's a woman's job to have children. If you are a woman who does not want to have children, I'm not saying that it is your divine right to do so. This is your life. Okay, I'm putting out the disclaimer. I don't want to see no comments down there trying to misconstrue what I'm saying. So I'm gonna just put that there too.
But they gonna try to cancel you before we even start.
Right. So let me just disclaimer. I'm not saying that, but in this essence of when you think about energies and things like that, it is a feminine energy, meaning that some men who are highly creative may oftentimes tap into that divine feminine energy that they have within themselves, because we all have both, in order to create, right? In order to give birth to that idea. It's a feminine concept. So to me, this movie is really about that. To me, it seems like that canal, that birthway that we're going through into the rebirth of the divine feminine. It has to be through her this time. You know, downplaying that. Again, we've been running through the masculine. That's not been working for us. And it's because we're out of balance. So that the balancing shift, when there's a balance shift, it usually goes like this. It doesn't automatically go equal. It usually goes to the other side. You know what I'm saying? And it weighs heavily on the other side. And I feel like that's what we're doing. And that's what they're trying to stop with transhumanism, with all these things that they're doing. It's all to stop the evolution of that divine feminine energy that's supposed to really explode onto this world and really just bring in the change that's been prophesied.
So true. And that's what I think the show that you brought up too, Wheel of Time, is all about as well. That divine femininity, not necessarily. Now that show is more of like causing some, separation where it's like female dominance over the man, but that's not the case. There's definitely a balance.
Well, there is no balance, right? It's still heavily male dominated, even though they have much power. Yeah. It's still a very patriarchal world, even though the Aes Sedai in Wheel of Time is technically, and there's still danger for them, because I don't know how far you got into it, but there's still danger for them. They can still be killed. They're still being attacked, and like witch hunting basically is happening still. In that. So,
but the men are there for companionship, for their protection.
Yes, they have their wards. Yeah, they have their wards. They're men that the redcoats don't, but that's a totally different show, y'all. we can get into that too. Like, geez, that show is telling some things too. But again, even the balance between the Aes Sedai and her ward is the true balance of masculine and divine feminine energy. That's why they go and they work together. You know what I mean? Even the man, I don't know how far you got into it, but even like one of the wards was like, a ward's not supposed to outlive their Aes Sedai. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm caught up. Yeah.
The men aren't supposed to be outliving the women that they're protecting who have the power.
Oh, exactly.
I feel like that show really puts into perspective what it should really be like. As far as that goes.
Agreed. I love that show. And she's coming into her power.
Now, can you go back real quick?
Okay. To
the point where Trinity started yelling. Because I saw something in a breakdown, and it was actually kind of interesting, which brings up this question too. Do you think they go touch on past lives? Because look at that screen.
Right. Because it didn't. They're not all her. It didn't look like the same person. Oh, I'm messing up. Okay, there we go.
They don't all look the same.
Nope. Yeah, they totally
especially the
different.
two in the back.
Yeah, this one. These
or
two
heavily distorted at that, to the point where she's unrecognizable. I think that could definitely be a past life, kind of like coming into one, like And it's funny that you say that, is because it's funny. I've had downloads about that in my spiritual meditations about how we really do, like, just like we have access to all the skills that we had in our lifetime. When we see the Matrix, this is what Spirit told me. When we see the Matrix and we see the parts where we're downloading like what we already know, it's like you lived a lifetime as a warrior. You lived a lifetime. You still have access to that. You still have access to even the information to utilize it in this same avatar, right? We come into this lifetime thinking it's a fresh start, but we still have our memories. We have our memories, then we still have the ability to, like, I should remember how to fight and how to be a warrior and how to use a sword, if that's what I use. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I do believe, like, in that sense, even when Neo woke up and he's just like, I still know Kung Fu. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still know our shit. We still know our shit, as the lifetimes, every lifetime has contributed to you being where you are now, so that you have a file, a drive where you could download, like, oh shit, I'm gonna go into my warrior spirit, and all of a sudden you know how to use a machete like a ninja. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do feel like we do have that, but we're so separated from that part of us, and even in believing in those things, that we can't manifest it and we can't tap into it the way that we used to. I think that's changing. I think that's why they're so big on the, because it's, again, changes and alters that DNA, because that's the stuff that's reawakening within us. Like, we're starting to remember who we are. We're starting to remember that we do have powers.
So, like you said, he's become her ward, shielding her, protecting her as she, gets stronger. I was like, is Trinity about to start flying, y'all?
I wouldn't be surprised.
She was the source that gave him the power to fly in the first place. How about that?
Right. Come on now.
Come on now. Yeah. Trailer was definitely amazing. Like I said, the twin flame journey, the grand awakening with the reincarnation, the gaining of the memories, utilizing gifts and skills from your past lives, I don't know, like the dreams that aren't just dreams, like the synchronicities with the memories showing up like on TV screens, and just like, I don't know, it was very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting movie. I definitely think that there'll be some ways that they're going to try to twist it to monopolize and manipulate, but
right.
Like, there was one scene, and I don't know if that was in this trailer actually, but there was one. Hold on. Like, when she said war needs to be the solution. Did that lady in the red glasses say that in this scene? I might be blurring them all together.
Oh, wait. Who said that?
Yeah.
I think it was that girl with the red glasses.
Niobe.
Oh, entanglements.
Jada. Oh my goodness. Oh, this one is the Deja Vu one trailer. And somebody in their review, they're saying that he may, Neo and Trinity may be in the same room together, plugged in. Like this one over here, you can barely see. Like you can see like the tip of another pod or whatever. And this might be Trinity. And they showed a picture where it's like just them two alone in their own chamber, separate from the rest. So he was saying that they're probably on a whole nother network, completely separate from everyone else. Oh, maybe she was a hologram, y'all.
Why did the operator have a robotic arm?
The operator.
Yeah, when he went
What
to
operator?
unplug Neo, he had a robotic arm.
Oh,
I didn't know it's that either.
he might have. Hmm. Trying to catch it. Oh,
It looked like
him
they
right
got
here.
upgrades on the
Oh, no.
ships.
Right. It looked like some from Star Trek, don't it?
Yeah, because I remember the original ships. They had wires all over the place. They had computers hanging off the off the boats.
It was real old school for sure.
Looking at Neo Wick.
He was in between both films, yo. He had to do the. He had to have the same look.
He was in a rush.
Yeah, he had to do the same look. He was doing both.
Right.
Wasn't he filming both films at the same time?
I thought they were supposed to come out the same
Probably.
day.
They were supposed to come out at the same time. That time prior to the pandemic, the panorama, as I call it, the panorama.
But didn't it get released? It got released in like Singapore or somewhere, like overseas. Months.
Yeah, I saw that some
in
people
advance.
were like, "Oh, my take on it, illustration of time as we know it," and actually, it wasn't even the trailer. I don't know if it came in the trailer because I think I just watched a clip, and I wrote the note, the demonstration of time, because it was like, "Oh, you think it's 7:09?" I don't know. I think it appears in one of the trailers, but somebody took it out as a clip from the trailer, and I was just like, and they said something like it was the first day of the rest of your life, needing to fight for it, you know, the ultimate goal, you know, and
Right.
I think that was a part of the thing that I was saying, where I was trying to explain kind of like the not need for war, just to be able to shift your perspective and frequency. You know, I think that's the kind of like, yes, fight for what you want, but in a sense of like, not
Right.
in the sense of war and bloodshed, but in the sense of superiority, knowing your power, knowing that no one can take from you from which that is yours. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That kind of passes into it. I think that's where they kind of like, because I do think in these movies, they do give a lot, but they also misconstrue a lot. You know, so they give you truth, but they put lies around it. And
Right.
especially when it comes to how to gain the truth, how to gain the awakening, how to gain access to your higher self, they'll try to distort those kind of like informative information to help people grow, to, you know, pretty much help them not grow, you know. I did like how they were talking about the strange repeating loops, right? I think we all kind of feel that way. Finding out everything may be like, you know, be a lie. Like the story we've been told is pretty much not the story that we think it is. I don't know if like we didn't go through that trailer when the girl said that. She's like, I don't know, everything's so different. Maybe the story we've been told is not what's you know what I mean? Is not what we think it is. I think that's what we're awakening to right now. The story that we've been told is not what we think it is. Many of us, you know, especially like those who may be still stuck into religious terms, thinking that Jesus is coming again, when it's you who's supposed to awaken and come again. You know what I'm saying?
He was like, I've been waiting for you for
lifetimes, right? That was another part of it. Yeah.
Right. Like it did give me the sense of religion where you're always looking outside yourself, looking for, you know, like a savior complex, or a savior syndrome or whatever. And but honestly, that also was like she's really been waiting for herself, like to connect to her higher self. That's what you've been waiting on. Like it was never Neo, it was always yourself.
But again, I think that's when they're trying to incorporate the twin flame journey of, you know, the two flames being one, the divine feminine, the divine masculine finally coming together, conjoining, and being whole.
Right, but they both have to be on some sort of like equal standing though as well, because she's finally coming to, Neo came into his power. Now he's allowing, helping her to come into her power. So definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the things that they try to misconstrue, that part there, because they still want the patriarchy to be the patriarchy, right? So I feel like they shift those little messages and try to implement it in a way that doesn't necessarily resonate quite, because it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Again, that whole, putting falsehoods in between the truth to try to dissuade people and throw people off course.
Right.
I want to know what this shot is about, because that's the one that sold me. I'm like, okay, I gotta see this.
The train scene?
No, the scene where the doors open and he like flip. It's like he walking upside down, but then when the door opens, he does that. He go right side up. I want to know what that's about. Maybe like the hallway scene.
Inception or like Doctor Strange type feel. It's like Inception and Doctor Strange feel.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like in the, how in the Matrix 2 they have the hallway with different doors. I was thinking about that.
Oh, okay. And then here's Niobe. Is she supposed to be the Oracle? Or no,
this is the one where she talks about war being necessary, which I don't think it is necessary.
Right. That is not our
in
time.
The same aspects as like they're trying to deliver it.
Right. They give you a good trained scene.
Mr. Anderson!
Why you make her sound like that?
how am I supposed to make it sound like? I don't know.
Like that. You said
it. It's more set up, Mr. Anderson.
Not when he's yelling it like how he was yelling it. I feel like you unmuting the video right now just for that Mr. Anderson part. Who was more like Mr. Anderson in that scene, me or Joe?
In that scene, yeah. You made it sound like he was sick.
The facial expressions.
Well, I'm not a man. I'm not a man. I don't know how to... Mr. Anderson. Like, what am I supposed to do? I can do a high alto at best as far as voices go. I'm a woman. Like, I don't know what you want from me. They have to act like it's that other way around. With my whole life I waited for you. No, he's been waiting for you his whole life, sweetie. You're the divine friend and creator source. He wouldn't have woken up without you, boo.
Tis true. She was the driving force, the motivation for him to keep going.
Throughout the three predecessing movies, right? It was all about Trinity.
Right.
Well, up until the last part.
Yeah, last part.
Okay, this is the last one. This is real quick. They just step onto a bullet train just off a rooftop,
Yeah. Not too crazy.
Right. In Tokyo, just chilling.
They went from San Francisco to Tokyo.
So, right. And then this one wants to make a wisecrack. We don't have to run to phone booths anymore. Like, excuse you, young one.
Like, what do you know about that? Were you like a baby?
You had to run out of a building through a window to another building to get to this phone booth, mind you. Like, she actually,
first of all,
she earned her stripes. What have you done, ma'am? We don't know you.
Right. Like, first of all, you don't know struggle.
Exactly. You don't know struggle. So what? You don't gotta go through all that. So you're not a real G in real life. You didn't have to do the work.
Right. You never had to wait in line. You never had to put in the sense. How
I
much
ran so
sense
you
was
could
it?
walk. I walked so you could crawl, and here you are trying to throw shots at me, but we don't have to do the phone man thing. You couldn't. You couldn't. You could never.
Mm-hmm.
Flowers are nice.
So I'm like, is he astral projecting there? Is he a hologram?
I don't think so. I
Because
think that they're shifting
they
through, like
walk
they
from one
found a way to
end
break
to
through the
the
matrix in a different way. Like instead of the phone, they can actually like just
right,
align themselves with where they want to be and have the portal take them there. Like portals, they're walking through portals. They found portals.
right. Mm-hmm. Hmm.
We have portals that take us to different spaces and things
I
like
don't
that.
think he can see them though. Do you think you? So you
I
don't
think
think
Okay.
that they're not
you don't think
visible in the sense of that you think they are, but they're right where they, like just like how that door, nobody would probably randomly walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they lead to certain things. I do think that, but I think we don't notice them because we don't know what we're looking for. But once you know what you're looking
Right.
for, then it kind of shifts it, and you'll see them everywhere. Because I've definitely went through portals when I was in Vegas one time. I got caught up with that.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually at a spiritual event,
Oh wow.
but you could see the shift in energy.
Hmm. All right. Nice. I call he's walking through the time capsule.
And he got the audacity to have the same chair.
But with him in the
I
original in the
just I know.
background. With the original in the background at that.
Right.
The disrespect.
It is.
I don't like it.
It is. Mm-mm, at all.
You remember this was me, y'all. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
That's your
No,
daddy.
not,
That
not
ain't
at
you.
all. Like you're layering it on a little too thick, sir. Like no, that's not you. And she mentioned, hold on, let me go back. After our first contact went so badly, we thought elements from your past might help ease you into the present. So not only is she wisecracking and making jokes, but I mean, clearly you messed up the first mission. So here you are again at the second mission. But I guess it was the same way for in the Matrix. There was two
The first time they messed
extract.
up. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
They
that's how they
messed
got
up
that
too.
bug in him. That bug in his belly that they had to take out. 'Cause
Right.
the first time he didn't listen and Nick
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. So, I mean, I think we can all connect with that. That first time that spirit tries to be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Psst, it's time for you to wake up. And you're like, yo, you're crazy. You crazy. You crazy. You know? You crazy. Like, get out of here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Matrix.
How's that
trying
sound?
to
You
swallow
mean
spirit. Right.
Jesus? You mean Jesus doesn't exist for me? You mean he didn't die on the
Hey,
cross for me, yo? What?
Well.
Get behind me, Satan! Throwing water. May the power of Christ compel you. May the power of Christ compel you. You know?
You turned this into the Exorcist?
when people first start to awaken, that's what you're dealing with. They're trying to exorcise you. You're Satan.
Right.
You're trying to throw them off the path of the Lord of Jesus. That's what's like leaving the Christian church.
That's the devil.
You do not believe?
Right. And it's all that cognitive dissonance every time.
Mm-hmm.
It'll get them every time.
But again, I do agree, showing him images from his past life, because he's seeing himself, it will make him more intrigued to then step into that place and be like, what am I seeing? This does look familiar. This reminds me of the dreams that I've been having. This is crazy.
Right.
And you then start to come out of the cognitive dissonance and be like, maybe I was wrong about something. I need to listen. I need to open up. I need to see.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yay. Well, that is it. But I want to just go ahead and. If there's anything else you guys want to say?
No,
Whatever.
I enjoyed this with you. Thank you for
Thank you all
inviting
for.
me to DMB
Absolutely.
Serenity Talks. I'm honored.
The first of many.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Next time I'm gonna
Okay,
come more
guys.
zhuzhed up. I'm gonna come when she said she was doing her makeup, I didn't think she was doing all that. You know, next time I'm gonna
Right.
come
She just
zhuzhed
gonna
up.
come up looking
I'm gonna come
looking like she
zhuzhed
about
up.
to go on TV and shit.
I mean, I look decent. I'm not mad, but like,
I look like I'm about to pull up to Zion.
I'm ending it. Okay. Bye, guys.
I know.
Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching.